my favorite teacher was a 7th grade science teacher who brought chocolate-covered ants for us to try tasting during a science unit. And it was the idea that he had those hands-on activities for us and really engaged us in learning that was such a powerful experience for me.
My very favorite educator was Mr. Moore, who was the assistant principal at Deep Creek Junior Senior High School in Baltimore, Maryland. No matter what happened in my life and the craziness was going on, he always made me feel special and feel valued and feel like I could be somebody one day. So anything I've done since that time, I owe a little bit of that to Mr. Moore.
My favorite teacher is kind of a toss-up. 2nd grade, Cheryl Freilich. 6th grade and 8th grade, Debbie Liebler. I love Miss Freilich's class. She was a brand new teacher. I was in 2nd grade. She was so beautiful and it overwhelmed us. She had us under her spell. We learned to write in cursive and do fractions and have so much fun. And so I got a really good foundation in education from her. I enjoyed school because of her. By the time I got to middle school, Miss Liebler, 6th grade and 8th grade social studies, she's what made me passionate about history, and that's what really turned me on to it. And so when I decided to become a teacher, I knew that it was going to be a history class that I taught. And so I thank both those teachers, the projects that we did and the fun we had. I try to use those same techniques in my classroom.
My favorite teacher is Linda Hamby. She was my 4th grade teacher, and she taught me to love reading. After lunch every day, she used to read Super Fudge, and I couldn't wait to hear the next chapter. She was more than a teacher. She taught us life lessons, and it lasted forever.
Well, my favorite teacher is Mr. Melvin Props. He just retired 2 years ago after 42 years of teaching. He taught middle school. He was my first male teacher that I ever had. 6th grade, homeroom teacher. He went from being my favorite teacher to my mentor to my friend. And he was the first one that I felt at that time truly took an interest in every student, including me. And I knew from the 6th grade on that that's what I wanted to be, was a teacher.
I'm Amy McAllister, and my favorite teacher was in 2nd grade. I had Miss Pam Williamson, and she really inspired my love of reading with the Shoeshine Girl.
My name is Arthur Pinckney, and my favorite teacher was Ms. L.B. Smith. She was my world geography teacher. She always made the class fun and was very passionate toward her students.
My favorite memory would be Mrs. Miles. She was my reception teacher, and she was just a lovely lady. She would always be walking around school very happy, smiling, usually singing or humming. She played the piano in our school assemblies, and she really cultivated that love of learning and wanting to learn, and the love of music, and also just wanting to learn about life. She's one of my favorite teachers.
My favorite teacher in high school was Mr. Slack. I had him for Algebra 2 and analytical geometry and enriched trigonometry. Mr. Slack taught me all the concepts that I used in high school and brought with me to college when I acquired my electrical engineering degree, and was very influential to me throughout my math years throughout college.
My favorite teacher was Miss Price at Dorman High School in Spartanburg County, and this is 11th grade. She inspired me to be a great writer. I never knew I had that in me, and she was so pleased with my scarlet letter writing and read it to the entire class, and it gave me the confidence to enroll at USC Carolina for broadcast journalism. So she was a great inspiration to me, and let me know that I really can make a difference and go to college, because I really wasn't guided in that direction. So she was awesome.
And I do have a favorite teacher from junior high school. I do not remember her name, but I do remember her persona. She was always so happy to be in that classroom with her students. She always greeted us. She had a smile on her face. She was always very, very positive. She went around and she gave us hugs, and she encouraged us to learn. And she made sure that every student in that class felt special. And when the class was over, she made sure to greet us and say, "Have a wonderful day. I'll see you tomorrow, and you know I love you." And even though I don't remember her name, I remember her being in that classroom. I remember feeling that positiveness and love and support. And that is the way I have my classroom today. I greet all my students. I am so happy to see them. I'm always encouraging and always very, very positive. I go to each of them and see how they're doing, if they need help. And when the class is over, I stand at that door, just like she did, and say, have a great day, and I'll see you the next time I see you. And I just remember that that made me feel special, and I hope it makes my students feel special also.
My favorite teacher was Vera Sullivan, who taught me English in both the 10th and the 12th grade. The reason Vera was my favorite teacher is, first of all, she was really good looking at that time of my life. The second piece of it was she came prepared every day, and she challenged us from an education standpoint. I still remember a lot of the things she required us to remember, particularly Chaucer and the Canterbury Tales, and I still walk around sometimes and say, "One that appeal with a sure soda, the drawth of March, a person to the road." So English was always been a course that I enjoyed, and Vera Sullivan was always my favorite.
Favorite memory of mine with my teacher was Miss Hazel. She was a chorus teacher, and she was also a longtime family friend, and we got to know each other. And one of the funny stories is my first car accident I had, and I ran into the back of her. So we had a great relationship from then on out as I started driving, but it was through her and her passion that led me to keep singing in church and different functions. So, you know, I give her a lot of credit.
Just to think about my favorite teacher was my 4th grade teacher, Miss Ramsey. I'll never forget her. She was from South America, and she was just a caring teacher because a lot of times I didn't have money to pay for lunch. She paid for my lunch because my family was 9 children. She was just special. She just had a way with children, and I wouldn't say that I was her peak because all the children in class were her pick. And she just had just a great love for children, and I'll always remember her. She's dead now, but I still remember her. I can still see her face. I'll always remember Miss Ramsey. Miss Ramsey. If she's resting up there, hello Miss Ramsey, and I still love you.
My favorite teacher was Coach Hester. He was my 12th grade economics teacher at Richland Northeast High School in Columbia, and he just made that class very fun. I think economics is a class that you'd have difficult to make fun, but he just made it really interesting. And as a matter of fact, I had never thought about being a teacher. Frankly, it was probably the last thing I ever would have done. But the way Coach Hester made that class so interesting and so much fun that he got me thinking about being a teacher. And sure enough, a few years later, I decided that's what I wanted to do, and I went on to become a high school economics teacher. So he definitely rubbed off on me in a very positive way. Thank you, Coach Hester.
I'm delighted to tell you about my favorite teacher, who was Thelma DeVoe from UMSC, South Carolina. Thelma DeVoe was special for many reasons. She gave me my name. She's actually my godmother, and she was my kindergarten teacher. What is so unique about Miss DeVoe is that she had high expectations, and she did not allow any child to fail. She constantly checked on us even when we left kindergarten, and we knew that A's and B's were the norm. So for Miss DeVoe, I hope you're listening, but we thank you for all that you've done, and thank you for instilling high expectations, morals, values, and a grand education.
My favorite teacher was named Mrs. Franks. She was my 7th grade teacher, and what stood out about her was that she believed in us, and she wouldn't accept anything less than our best. She was a motivator, and she was very inspirational. She's deceased now, but what she instilled in me guides me to this day, and I miss her and I love her to death.
And I tell the story about Miss Haygood, my 4th grade teacher, who embraced me and my shyness and my introvert self, and she recognized in me that I love to read, and she encouraged me to write. And we actually, back in the 70s, published a book, and that meant more to me than anything. And so I think to honor Miss Haygood, I became an English teacher because she instilled in me that love of reading and writing.
My favorite teacher growing up was Miss Lester. She was my 2nd grade teacher. She was just one of those teachers that brought such enthusiasm to the classroom. She cared about all of us and made sure that we knew it. And I've tried to practice some of her teachings in my own classroom, and I'll always remember her.
My My favorite memory of a teacher, I would have to say, was in elementary school. It was a teacher named Mrs. Dyer. And I had a bout with dyslexia. So back then, I'm not going to say how old I am, but back then, teachers didn't recognize it as clearly as they do now. And she spent more time with me than I think any other teacher that I ever had, after school, before school, just trying to kind of get through the kinks and figure out exactly what the issue was. And when she did, I was able to thrive and kind of relearn how to read and how to see words. But I'll never forget her. And now I have a business that I get paid to read and to talk. And so she's made an instrumental difference in my life.
John Stam from New York City taught me science and mathematics in both 8th and 9th grade. So for 2 years in a row, I had Mr. Sam for 2 hours a day. I still do math the way he taught me, and he fanned into flames my curiosity about science. While in his class, I began to subscribe to the magazine Scientific American, and I still subscribe to that magazine and read science for a hobby because his excitement about science and mathematics was contagious. I wish I could find him now. I tried to look him up on Google, but it turns out there's a lot of people named John Stam in New York City. But if you're out there, John, thank you so much for what you've done for me.